So it was a little frustrating one the last time out. I guess any lessons you take out of that, or anything you care to remember from that one?
Yeah, it's part of the gig. I mean, I didn't expect Parsons to pull out, and my whole camp was revolving around fighting a Muay Thai fighter. Parsons, I don't think he has any takedowns in his resume at all. So I did not a lot of wrestling throughout the camp, and that was a big lesson for me, just always do it all, regardless of what the fighter brings to the table. So I adjusted my training camp a little bit better this time, in case something like that pops up. But I did see Tim show up, so we're good to go.
I was going to say, it's kind of a curious spot, right? Because you've had 5 months. After that fight, I'm sure you'd want to work on your wrestling, but then you find out you're fighting Tim Means, and, dude's probably not going to shoot a takedown on you, you know what I mean? So
you never know. I mean, he probably watched my last fight, so he's like, oh, maybe I'll take this guy down. So he can try. I mean, I definitely did work on it, so let's get it.
Very nice. That said, even though you did work on it, I gotta be thinking that when you heard Tim Means was the opponent, the thought process had to be pretty excited. I mean, we know what that guy brings to the table.
Yeah, he's always there he shows up to fight, so I'm excited. It's going to be a good fight. He is a veteran. You got to respect that. I mean, this is a sport where men die young, and when you see an old man, you gotta respect that. So I'm excited. He's not the only veteran around. There's a lot of veterans, and every time I hear or see one or talk to one, it's always an exciting thing. It's like, wow, man, you've gotten far in this game, and that's not easy. You got to give it respect.
That's awesome, man. I was going to ask you kind of where you evaluate him, right? Because he is 40 now, right? He even said here earlier, he's like, look, I know my time's coming. Yeah. But he's also coming off a fight of the night win, right? Yeah. So, where do you evaluate him, where he stands right now in his career?
I'm sure it's going to be a good scrap, but, the sport, the nature of the sport, it's a lot of wear and tear. So I believe with the youth is going to play a big role. I mean, he did fight some younger guys, and he won against some younger guys, so I would never count him out, but I'm pretty confident in my ability to finish fights, and he gets hit. I hit pretty hard. I finished a lot of guys that have never been finished in the UFC, including, I think, Morales and Matthew Semelsberger. Both have not been knocked out in the UFC, and I finished both of them. For whatever reason, I didn't get a bonus for neither one of those fights, and I will keep that against them, especially for Semelsberger. Whoever was there to see the chaos in the arena after my spinning back fist and then not award me with a bonus, I'll make sure to cement that this time so they can write the 3 checks out, and somebody's going to get oiled up.
I love it. I mean, look, it looks like on paper it could be fireworks, right? But I mean, can you let yourself get drawn into that to having a war? Does this feel like I really need a win after what happened last time, not just go out and have a war?
So I'm not too focused on the outcome of the fight. To me, most important thing is to focus on the performance, putting a good performance, smart performance, because whatever it may look like, for me, this is a marathon. It's a long game I want to play. So there's no reason to get into a reckless fight like I did maybe with beginning of the round with Semelsberger, So it needs to be smarter. It always needs to be smarter. The more smart you can fight, the longer you can stay in the game, the less damage you take. It's a pretty simple thing. Don't get into a bar fight. It's a professional MMA fight.
Nice. Last thing for me. I mean, win here over a veteran like Tim. I got to think it'll be a fun fight. However, it winds up. What do you want next? I mean, have you started thinking about, you had 5 months off. You're coming off a loss. Is it we got to get this thing rolling? We got to fight quickly? What's the plan after this one?
So I was planning for this year to fight 2 to 3 times and aim to reach the top 15. That was the goal. We'll see, that was the plan and the goal. We'll see how things work out. Everything goes well. No injuries. I believe I'll be able to fight 3 times. Springtime, late summertime, maybe again in Utah, and then sometimes again in November like I did last time. So it's not out of the picture. Now that I am in the welterweight, it definitely feels a lot better on my body and my brain and my emotional state, just overall. So that's the goal. I would like to reach the top 15 and then reset and kind of think about the further steps. But for this year, goal is to top 15.
Has Mike Tyson been coming through King's MMA lately?
I haven't seen him at King's MMA because they've been traveling, I think probably doing some media, and he's been with Master Cordero a lot over, I think they were in Arizona for a little bit. They may be around here in Vegas right now. I'm supposed to meet with Master, I think, sometimes this week if everything works out. I don't know, maybe Mike will be around too, so it would be nice to see him as well. I've seen him in the past several times, so Mike is great, and it's always an absolute pleasure, and just being around is a great thing.
Well, what do you think when you saw that fight booked against Jake Paul?
I mean, props to him. He's how old is he? 56, 7? I don't know how old is he. So to do something like that, it not only takes balls, but I don't think anybody but Mike Tyson, like he's the only one that can do that. I don't think anybody else can even attempt to pull that off. So, and he's got one of the best coaches there is by his side. So I think it's a pretty exciting thing to see, and what these kids are doing, Paul kids, you got to give them respect, even though I'm not a huge fan, because they really are not a fighter, neither one of the brothers, but they are running the fight game besides the UFC, outside of UFC, because this is real fighting. Everything else is, we can say some of the boxing is real fighting, but then what these guys are running, it's a little funny, but it's entertaining, and at the end of the day, it's entertainment business we're in, so you got to give them some respect.
Thanks, man.
You mentioned the bonuses. We talked about that with Tim a little bit earlier, how the bonuses came up at UFC 300. They had the 300,000 bonuses.
Mm-hmm.
He says the UFC should keep that same energy and maybe bring that back. If you guys knew that the bonuses were bigger, would you fight even harder for those bonuses out there?
I mean, I disagree. I mean, we're all fighters, and we all fight. I try to finish every fight. Like, I think, personally, bonus should be included with the finish. Like, if you are chasing the finish, I got my last finish in the third round, like, at the end of the third round. So I was aiming to finish this guy regardless, and I believe they should have paid out for that. And $50,000 was not what $50,000 used to be 15 years ago. So there should be some talk about it, but I mean, is what it is, we're here to fight regardless. I'll fight. I used to do it for free, I'll fucking fight. And there's a shitload of people that would still do it for free. Just to get their foot in the door, they would do it for free. And whoever runs the company, they also know that too. So if you're like, you want a $300,000 bonus? Well, guess what? There's a shitload of guys that will do it for free. So it's not going to happen. But every now and then, yeah, I mean, $300,000, that's amazing. And Max Holloway and Justin Gaethje definitely deserved it. That fight was, it'll be down as one of the craziest fights that was ever in the octagon. So I'm sure, I like Justin a lot, and I know him. I see him. He's friends with Benny too, and I felt bad. I was rooting for Justin, even though I like Max Holloway too. I was rooting for Justin, and I can only imagine. He's gonna be seeing that video a million times. Every time my opponent fights, I'd be like, motherfucker, like that's me getting my ass beat, even though I win most of my fights, but that's how it is. It's gonna be his fight name is Highlight. So either he wins or loses, it's a fucking highlight.
And that being said, that moment, it's kind of iconic that, Max pointing down at the ring and then bringing it forward. Is that it's like the stuff out of movies. Is that something that you would love to have, that sort of moment be iconic in one of your fights?
Yes, as long as I'm in the Max Holloway seat, right? But I think Justin fell into a trap. He was a bit hurt, and it was a tough fight, and he got hurt in the first round, got his nose broken, and he should have expected Max to ask for that, and he was already hurt. Had he not been hurt as much, I believe Justin would have been able to take the punch that landed, but he was already badly hurt, and Max, asked for that brawl in the middle, and it resulted badly for Justin, unfortunately, but it gave us the fight for, forever. We are all going to be talking about it forever. Like, yo, you remember that fight? And everybody's going to be like, yeah, man, that was crazy.
Best of luck on Saturday.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Thank you, guys.
You said that you like to focus on your performance rather than the outcome. Do you think that's the reason why you have as many finishes as you have?
I haven't thought too much about it. Like, it's just something that I've learned throughout studying a little bit of mental performance and just overall having a mentor a little bit, talk to stuff about it. And because we are always focused, hey, I need to win, I need to win. But the focus should be how I need to win, where and what am I going to do to get there, to win there. So that's why when you focus on the result, there could be a certain type of anxiety related to it. And we all, fighters, it's every athlete will face it, and especially fighters. Like, there's not a lot of sports where you face another man that's trying to hurt you the way it is in the cage. So focusing on, doing the right thing, staying in the zone, being conscious of what you're actually doing and not just being using your reflex to fight. I think it helps a lot, just delivering a better performance. And if you're conscious of what you're doing, you can stay calmer. If you can stay calmer, you can breathe better. You get tired less. I mean, we all see the people from Dagestan. They changed the whole game. They would wrestle people and get enough time for them to feel comfortable, breathe well, calm down, and that's their game. I mean, I've felt it on my own skin against the kid from whatever, he's from Tajikistan or somewhere, Kazakhstan. I can't remember exactly. Props to him coming on a, Kyrgyzstan, yeah, there. It's one of the stands, yeah. So, and that's ex-Soviet Union. They have a similar style of wrestling, all of them, and they're very good at it. And that fact that he gets enough time to kind of reset and think also helps them put a good performance down the road as the rounds go and the time goes. Because I worked really hard to get those takedowns, to get up from those takedowns, but he wasn't doing any damage. I was just panicking because I wasn't there ever. I didn't prepare for that. Like, if you look at my record, I always fought strikers mostly and maybe have gotten taken down once or twice. And it's not like I didn't expect to never get taken down. I worked on my wrestling and my jiu-jitsu. It's a lot different when you specifically prepare for somebody who is a wrestler. And when I took the fight, I was told, you know what, this is a weak notice. This guy is mostly a striker. You look at some of his fights, he's mostly a striker. But then when you really look at his fights and look at the details, this guy's actually specified, just specifically wrestler. So I was a little disappointed that I fell into that trap. But I'm here to fight always, I'm not going to say no to fights. And I knew that there was a disadvantage going into that fight, but I also was that close to knocking him out, in my opinion. And had I not panicked, I would have knocked him out. Had I just kept my distance a little bit further and just kept teeing him off, I think it would have been the end of it. But it's a big lesson, and, life goes on. Let's go. Next one.
Thank you.
Yeah, appreciate it.
One quick follow-up.
Yeah.
Now that you're back at welterweight and you have some fights on your belt, how much weight were you cutting to get down to lightweight?
I mean, I wasn't much smaller than I am right now. That was last year and a half ago. So I would walk around high 80s, 180 plus 190, and it just my weight doesn't really come off easily. I am look at me, I'm lean and skinny, so it's really hard. And that's why when I fought Jalen Turner, I was really surprised. Like, wow, man, it's very impressive. How are you able to do this? Because I struggled so much. And everything depended on it's like a lottery I played. Hey, how my weight cut works out, that's how my fight is going to work out. On a bad weight cut, it's a bad performance. On a good weight cut, it's a good performance. And I believe it's the same case with him. We see each other personally, like doing physical therapy. We were in Orange County, and his weight he's lower than me physically. Like, I was like, wow, man, but it's just a different body type and different body build. But his last performance, it was also good, but towards the end, I think it was because of his weight cut that he didn't have enough energy left to grapple and wrestle with Moicano. Moicano's a little bit smaller and thicker, and he was able to implement his game on Jalen and just keep him down. That really wears you out, especially after a weight cut. I hate the weight cuts, man. It doesn't make any sense that before you go into the hardest thing that a man can do, you try to make yourself as weak as possible, just to try and rehydrate yourself more than like you would even normally be hydrated, because you're chugging water and electrolytes. So, but that's how the game is, and everybody does it. Wrestlers, boxers, I don't have a solution for it except just kind of write stuff down and and try to get your weight cut to be the best it can be.
So, not having to worry about that weight cut, is it just so much better to focus on skills, not having to worry about dieting during camp?
Yes, and I think the main thing is the injuries, because once you're cutting that much weight, you're underfed. Your body needs calories and needs fats, needs carbohydrates to repair itself, and you're breaking your body every day in training. And if you don't have enough input, it's just not gonna. It just breaks down, and that's how I ended up having a broken hand and a surgery. In my opinion, I was underfed. You don't sleep as good. You just do not recover. That's it. And I had to change that. I had to change it. And it's not like I don't worry about weight. I still am mid 190s, like outside of the fight camp. So if I wanted to, easily could be 200 pounds. So it's not like I'm a smaller welterweight at all. Yeah.